But today we're going to be talking about round starts and opening gambits. Okay. Uh, this is a topic that is like semi-requested. I notice a lot of people talk about this, and especially people in the mid-level will generally evaluate characters based on their ability to perform a round start. So, now's a good time to talk about it. All right, but we're going to talk about round start strategies, how to pay attention, and of course, what this means in the point war. So, in the point war series so far, we've learned how to navigate the point war, what the shape of it looks like, what your goals should be, how to build a team, but most importantly, we haven't really learned how to essentially create strategies yet in the point war. PvP, just a talk stream. No, there's no player versus player today. But it's more or less a educational stream, and we're going to talk about brilliant round starts, how we can use round starts in our matches, and basically what they mean for us. Now, here's a question, guys. In the chat, those of you that are here, what are your favorite round starts in the game? How do you like to start your matches? I don't know who to pick. Because I could theoretically do this with anyone. Could theoretically do it with this team. Could also theoretically do it with this team. I don't know what team to pick. Fuck. IAD back is the common go-to. That is not a bad one. Super jump back and just playing neutral from there. That is a very wise one. We will be talking about those. We'll do this. All right, guys, you know the drill. What are we doing? Everlyn, holding it down in the back. Holding down the set in the back. Cookie. Everlyn, what stage should I do today? What do you cast?
Space.
Space? Do you normally do space or?
I do space or cavern because they're blue.
Damn it. I got 2 cell games. You guys really want me to play on cell games? It's crazy.
Just play Destroy Dynamic to kill your stream.
I'm not doing Destroy Dynamic. That's just evil.
Exactly, yes.
You should have said space. I would have done space if you did. You were my tiebreaker playing Numbrion. Alright. So first things first, we're going to talk about round starts. Now, why are round starts important? Well, there are a couple of rules about round starts that we need to pay attention to. Okay? First of all, this is the biggest one that a lot of people don't know. Okay? Match start and round start are different distances. You might be thinking, I'm sorry, what? Well, let me show you. 5M reaches from round start, or from match start. At the start of every match, I can 5M. And it will connect. However, if I do this, see where it says center after KO or switch? Now I'm a little bit farther away. 5M doesn't reach anymore. It is important that you understand the distinction between the two if you're going to do any sort of round start. Because if I do this after a character dies, I am going to get bodied. I am literally just whiffing a button in front of Kefla. Not only that, shoulder doesn't work either. That will reach, but look how it's 22 frames. Kefla's 5M will already reach me by the time I get there. I could theoretically do... I can't do that. All of my options are crippled. I literally cannot do anything. All I could do is commit to this. Or maybe do this. Or if I have enough bar, I can maybe do that. But that's not a very good round start. You know? So, obviously, not really the best position to be in. at the current moment. I just realized I didn't shout out on my own Discord. Hang on. Let me go ahead and do this and announce that I'm live. There we go. But yeah, hey, what's up, Nebula? How's it going? Anyway, point is, my ability to challenge round start has gone down pretty considerably. Some characters don't really care. I guess some do. I can micro walk forward, do this, but nah, that takes time. I could theoretically do this if I'm leveled up. You know, I could slide into the DMs round start. I could just do that. It's pretty good. But yeah, basically keep that in mind, guys. If you ever had a round start whiff because someone died, that's because match start and round start are very different. There is one other thing you need to keep in mind. You also have a different distance when your stage changes. Meaning when you, like, basically if I were to blow up the stage and we end up in the thingy, I forgot what it's called, we go back to round start. Kind of. I still can't 5M, but now my shoulder reaches. This is very, very important when labbing round starts, guys. Because after a stage, you know, my 5M doesn't quite reach, but 236L does. And that's very, very important. So, cool. I've seen people beam after a KO. Risky. And the reason why it's risky is because most people just do this, you know? Like, if I want to, like, if I super jump back and I see you beam, I'm just gonna dive straight down and you're gonna die. Because... Okay, no. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a light scaling starter. Thought it was a medium. But I'm just gonna do this, and then you're gonna die. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, and we're gonna do stuff. A little late, but my favorite round start was 236M and Kefla A. Okay, that's a round start. So here's the big secret about round starts, okay? We're gonna divide them into two categories, and one of these categories should be your default. We're going to talk about aggressive round starts, and we're going to talk about aggressive round starts and opening gambits is what I prefer to call them when it's a match start. We're going to talk about building an opening gambit, what's aggressive, and what is a defensive opening gambit. For example, this, as Wingdude said, is decent. It's not my favorite. I personally don't like to do this because normally when people do that and I see them IAD, I'm just going to chase with key blasts because my key blast will likely stuff their assists and force them to block. And, you know, if I have like a projectile assist like Kefla and whatnot, I could just do this and then call Kefla and then just run up and take my turn. But we'll talk about more of that sort of situation in a little bit. But basically, when it comes to round starts, guys, or when it comes to match starts, we'll go back to, yeah, we're center. When it comes to match starts, you want to think of them in terms of aggressive and defensive round starts. If you start your round start aggressively, it could be very, very good. For example, I could do... Oop, messed up. But point is, that's... Oh, wait. It's not skewed in our favor. Hang on. So, for example, if we start the match like this, all right? That's 5.3k right off the bat. I get the corner. There's Oki. And I have a little bit of a meter head start as well. I'll be a meter penalty, but by the time they wake up, you know, I can do this. Okay. You know. And then walk forward. I even literally just dash even a little bit. I get like three bars. So... this is a pretty good opening gambit, okay? Not only that, if I don't want to spend the resources, I could probably re-jump into loops. You know, I could probably do that if I don't want to spend any resources and keep my... I messed up. I auto-confirmed. But yeah, you could probably do that into loops. If you delay enough, you can probably reach the corner. Yeah. Maybe not. But the point is pretty strong. Medium starter, right? Cool. That's a neat strategy. However, you will notice that a lot of top-level players don't do this. The reason why is because this is basically neutral distance right here. This is the distance in which most people play neutral, which means if somebody were to do like this, for example, or they were to like ID forward, they actually might go over my 5M and punish me. If Kefla, for example, were to do this, there's nothing I can do. Like, I'm in full recovery. And in her case, she has barrier, which is going to influence her round starts. So, how do we... There are people actually popping fireworks right now. What the fuck? I really hate Americans on the 4th of July. I really do. Jesus. But, wow, I'm surprised I converted. But, point is, this is very good round start. Very good round start. But is it the best round start? No. So here's rule number 1 that a lot of people don't think about. Your round starts should be determined as much by your assists as they are your point. For example, I'll show you guys some of the strongest round starts that I have seen. The biggest round start, my personal favorite round start in the entire game, if I'm running a team that allows it, guys, with a beam, is this. For example, let me see if I can dash block fast enough. I think it's gonna be tough. Fuck. It's really, really hard to get the timing right. There we go. That was the timing. So if we do this, she dash blocks. The recording always starts up late, and I hate it. However, if you call a beam, like SSJ Goku, or Vegito A, or an assist like that, if I come with an aggressive round start, I'm getting smoked. I do this a lot with Kefla. You can also do, like, this. You know? That is a very, very good... Like, let's say Kefla herself, alright, just decides to come in with that as a round start. So that hits on frame 16. That's pretty good. Not as good as my 5M, but it's something. And it is aggressive. You know, it's very, very aggressive, if a little bit risky. Because I can easily just that, or I can easily that. You know? If I am worried about the assist call, I can easily convert that backdash into a back super jump. Or I can even do that and force her to hold an assist. Like, if I want to be... Ooh, that's risky. There we go. I can do that. Like, there are a lot of ways I can deal with this particular round start. But dash block plus this assist, very, very good. Oh my god, I really hate the way this resets. Maybe I could do it with Adult Gohan's beam, actually. That might be a better way to demonstrate. Oh my god. This is really hard to time, and it's annoying that it keeps resetting. Oh my god, Kefla does not care. This usually works against Lariat. Point is, it's weird to time. But again, you could just do that. But let's say they come in with like a very aggressive round start and whatnot. Okay. Forgot. This, very good way to start the match. And the reason why is because adult Gohan usually remains behind the point. It might not work with Kefla, because instead of being like a straight lariat, like this, instead of being a straight lariat like that, it's a multi-hit that keeps traveling even on block. Like, there's a lot of pushback, so it might actually negate the dash block properties. But a straight lariat like that, you just do this, they get smoked, and if they get smoked, it's an easy confirm. If it's a C assist. If it's a beam assist, you will have to confirm it with, like, super dash. But, you know, as Blue Goku, if I super dash and whatnot, I'm gonna go into loops. You can even do it with fast assists like this, because that can help you get, like, an edge, because it's a bit more defensive. However, if they're a bit more aggressive, they're very likely to hit your assist. So I would be very, very careful. So right here, this team does not have a strong opening gambit. In my opinion, this is one of the strongest in the entire game. That is one of my favorite ways to open. That is one of my favorite ways to open any match. I really hate this. It's one of my favorite ways to open any match, for example. Like, just dash blocking in general is really, really effective. This is PC, yes. More importantly, okay. Also, welcome to the stream, Mr. Zenny. Most importantly, the reason why dash block plus assist is so good is because if I do this, my opponent will kind of be forced to surrender neutral. What I mean by that is my opponent has no choice but to do this. If they IAD back, for example, they're holding a beam. Okay? Like if she does this, for example. Alright, I don't have it to play anymore. Thank you so much for the follow. Really, really appreciate it. See, she can theoretically jump there, but here's the thing. She has a beam that's coming her way. Okay? So she either has to jump... God. She has to jump back at this point to avoid getting hit by the beam, or she has to jump forward. She can't do... and either one is kind of like a disadvantage. Because if she jumps back, for example, her assist is going to be completely cleared off the ground. So, assuming she doesn't have an assist, I can just dash block, and then I can chase, kind of push her in the corner. She'll have to use her assist, but I can bait that. Like, she ends up here. She calls TN. I could do something like to essentially to bait it, and then try to pin her. Or she can call barrier, but again, not exactly ideal to start spending your assists that quickly for no reason. The other option she has is if she jumps forward, but if she jumps forward, I can just do that. And just catch her. You know, I can dash block and then, oh my god. Do that. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. But yeah. Basically, because I control the ground and whatnot, because this cleared the entire lower half of the entire screen, because I have control over the ground, I can now dictate what she's going to do. Once you're in the ground, guys, a lot of people think that up backing, like we've talked about this before, this is not a great strategic position, because, like, a character has very limited options here. Like, I can do this, like... If I spend my double jump, I'm kind of screwed. I can only super dash, but everything that I do in the air pretty much can get 2H'd. So that's generally why I like to remain grounded, and I like to implement moon jumps and super jumps to basically control space. Like, for example, I'll do like this as a bait, but we'll talk about full screen options some other time. The point is that if you force your opponent to jump away, that's not necessarily a disadvantage, especially if they can track and they have another assist. Especially an assist that can snipe you like that. So, you have to keep in mind that you can get caught. That is one of the reasons why I like this particular round start. The important thing to remember about this round start, though, is not necessarily the fact that it's aggressive, because it is defensive. If it fails, you're blocking. Sure, you lost neutral, but, you know, it's the start of the match and whatnot. It's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world for you. you can maneuver this position. But that's one of the reasons why I like it. But more importantly, it's a very controlling move, which is something that I want you guys to think about. I could attack, right? But that doesn't really give me very consistent results. Because if she jumps in any way, I whiff. If Kefla wants and she knows that I'm going to do it, she can call it out like that. Like she can just jump JS and catch me and then convert with the assists or with her own assists if she has good assists to do so. Like, it's generally, like, this is good, but it's also kind of greedy, in my opinion. Like, it's also kind of really greedy, in my opinion. Like, this is a very hungry round start. So, that's generally why I don't like it. It can give me an early advantage later on, but this is not necessarily the best. No, I'm talking about round starts. So this is a little bit on the greedy end. I don't want to constantly do that. Sometimes I will, just because I want to check my opponent's aggression, but it's not really what I'm trying to do. What I would rather do is I would rather control my opponent, and I would rather control the area. If I do this, I immediately win potentially zone 2 if my assist successfully comes out. If my assist successfully comes out, basically I control, depending on the assist, a good portion of the screen, and I could force my opponent to make decisions. If they retreat, which would be the smart thing, I could start making advancing moves. And that's pretty damn strong, in my opinion. Another very common round start is very simple. This is very strong. Because even though I say super jump float is really not the best, the ability to super jump float is really, really important, because then you can fast fall and now we can play neutral. If the opponent doesn't have any, I can, bait the assist. We could just immediately start neutral, no fuss. This is what you will see most commonly because it's the safest. But most importantly is it keeps an assist, because here's what happens, right? If I dash block plus assist every time, like let's say Kefla decides to do that. All right, I forgot. I don't have it turned on. So let's say Kefla decides to do that. Like, yeah, I can chase her and whatnot, which is nice. But what if she does this? Something like that, right? She's safe. And not only is she safe, like, I probably could have hit her there if I wanted to. So if I go... Nah, it's actually really tricky because in most situations, you're not expecting your opponent to move forward. You're not ready to air at that angle. You have to super jump very steep. Like, I would have to hard call it out. Like, even hard calling it out, it's still pretty tough. Ah, my God, I'm starting to get the... Like... And not only that, that's if Kefla does nothing. She could easily just this, which makes it even harder to approach her, because she can just go like that, and then just basically JM through the air to clear the space. She does that, right? It's very hard for me to catch her. I would basically have to do this, which is hard to do on stick mechanically. Gotta practice those. But basically, very, very hard to catch. So, what's the situation if this happens? Well, the situation is we return to neutral anyway. But now, in my particular case, this is a C assist. I'm down an assist, which means I'm vulnerable. Now, she doesn't have to work very hard, and she still has both of her assists, so she could do a lot to harass me. And there's not a lot I can do. My ability to approach is kind of muted because I don't have a way to keep myself safe and whatnot. Beerus A is great, but it can be disrespected if I'm not careful. So basically, I'm just stuck here biding time for my beam to come back because I'm not exactly ready to give up Beerus yet because he's such a good defensive assist. So it's like, okay, So you kind of have to think of it that way. You don't want to spend resources when you don't have to, right? Sometimes you can even do like a fake out, like you could do it like that, for example, if you wanna do an aggressive round start, and you're like, okay, my opponent's been very aggressive. Or sometimes you can even chase, like if my opponent's gonna super jump back as they should, that's normal. You can even do that, which is fantastic. If you want to call it out, do that, convert, boom. and you're good. So, right off the bat, you have this whole dynamic fluid position that's coming with a lot of different options. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do here. You might be wondering, okay, so then what the hell am I supposed to do round start? Well, it depends. For me personally, what I like to do when it comes to round starts, especially if it's an opponent that I've never fought before, if it's not an eval, what I'm going to do 9 times out of 10 is I am just going to respect. Like, I'm just going to respect. I'm going to play neutral, try to bait the assists. You know, if they come near me, I'm just going to backdash JS. You know, like, call Beerus as a defensive assist if they get too close or they're a bit too aggressive. And generally just try to play neutral from here. That is what I want to do. And the reason why I want to do that is because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're crazy. Yeah, Beerus is a part of my main team. So generally speaking, I don't like to, like, if you don't know what your opponent's going to do, it's always better to back off. Which I guess kind of ties into the rest of how you do it, like how to build around start, but it also carries over to neutral. It carries over to pressure. If you don't know what your opponent is going to do, it is always better to take a safe option and put them in situations where they reveal what they want to do. So even though like my default is this, I'm going to be paying attention. So I'm like, okay, what are they doing? So if my opponent does this as well, you know, and we both super jump away or we're full screen, I'm like, okay, they're surrendering neutral. Okay, I have an idea then, you know? At some point, if I notice that they do that every time, I'm going to do this. You know? Like, I'm going to do that. The reason why I'm going to do that is because I know that they're going to move forward. It's now, I have an idea of what they like to do. I have an idea of their habits. More importantly, I like to just do this. If you want to ID back, I like to ID back and then forward just to prepare. Dash block, just to prepare for the assist. If they call an assist, I try to jump back, so be careful. Because some assists will catch you for backdashing. So you want to be careful and always prepare to jump. You know? So I'll do something like, okay, and then from there, we begin neutral proper. That's really, really important. You don't want to overexert yourself. Also, hi, Kasuga. You don't want to overexert yourself at the beginning of the round because you can get clipped a lot, and you don't want to get called out. So, basically, what I'm saying is, number one, be safe, and don't take risks unless you're confident that those risks are going to pay off. If you're not confident that that risk is going to pay off, there's really no point. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you just got to kind of risk it for the biscuit. But generally speaking, like if it's your first match, first round of the first set of a tournament, don't be risky. You don't have to exert yourself. Don't exert yourself more than you need to. And two, the biggest one is you need to remain ambiguous. So basically, don't always do the same round start. Don't always dash block plus beam. Don't always super jump back, and don't always, you know, smack. Don't always just try to do this. Because they all have an answer. You want to be very, 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 very selective with what you want to do. But those are common strategies that you can employ. But is there anything that we can do before the match? Yes. The first thing that you want to do that will determine a lot of your round starts. For example, the first thing that I do when I'm deciding how I want to round start. I'm not sure if this is the same for you, Kasuga. I pay very close attention to my opponent's team, who's on point, and what assists they have. For example, if it's a team like, let's pretend this was still good. If this was Season 2, and it's a team like this, right? Yeah. If it's a team like this, I can already imagine what they're going to want to do round start. This is a very aggressive team. So, even if I have, like, Blue Goku, as exactly Cooler did, I am not gonna fuck with that. Man, that assist used to be good. It used to be such a good round start. 47. Like, imagine when this was still good. Like, this was brutal. This was brutal. Yeah, lariat round start. Another thing that a lot of people can do, because a lot of people are very, very aggressive, you can also anti-air plus beam. So here's another one I can do. This team has incredibly, or had rather, incredibly strong round starts. Like the round start on this team was insane. Because this covers such a good portion of the screen. It catches people, you know, like the beam, you're cutting off an angle, you're basically drawing an X. This team has a lot behind it. I love mashing. Thank you for the follow. That's a godlike name. So there you go. That is an example of round starts, but look how quickly that changes. The dynamics of the round start changes if I change the assists. Suddenly, that kind of sucks. That's good now. You know, that's great. I can do that, but if my opponent does... Oop, I messed up. Like this... I'm getting hit. Literally, the way the answer to dealing with this team changes. Even with the exact same characters, depending on the assists. Like, obviously, it's good to retreat, especially if you suspect that your opponent's going to lariat, because that's a free in. But, like, super jumping back will lose to like GT. But fortunately for us, GT's dead. A great round start that Goichi and Fenrich used to do against each other when they used to play, when Goichi was using this team, was actually this. Because Bardock would just fuck off. If Bardock did... Hang on, let me get it. Bardock did that with the beam and whatever. That kind of whiffed. This would clear the GT angle. Like, he would just jump right over GT. And they had to basically approach each other. That was a very interesting answer that they found to GTA at the time. But the point is, that would be the safest thing to do. Especially if you do a very, very good pattern, you have excellent movement, and you do this. I'm basically blocking immediately after inputting super jump. So I'm pretty safe. This is a great answer to a lot of situations. But my round start and what I chose to do was heavily dependent on my opponent. And it also depends on my own team, right? So it's not just my opponent having an answer for me playing Goichi's team, but as Goichi's team, I have round starts that I know can basically guarantee me a turn. You have to be very, very, very careful with those. Now, there is a round start situation that I do want to touch on briefly. Let's do... there we go. Now, let's say I have this team with these assists. This is very similar to Goichi's team. But let's see what options Gogeta has at round start, right? Let's see what options Gogeta has at round start. That is 16 frames. That is broken. This is fantastic. This, fantastic. Like, both of these options are amazing. But most importantly, the reason why I'm talking about Gogeta Blue is because we're going to talk about a certain situation. Raise your hands if this has been you. If you have been on the receiving end of this. I want to see baguettes in the chat if you've been hit by this. Oops. Raise your hands if that's been you. Quite a bit of you. Quite a few of you. Oops. How's it going, Buttercream be smacking? How are you, man? That's such a fun combo to do. But yeah. So, point is, if you've been hit by that, now here's the question. Round start TODs. Are they worth it? The answer may surprise you. No. What? What do you mean round start TODs aren't worth it? You're killing a point, right? You're killing a character. You get a character lead. Your character, Kefla comes in, so now she can start zoning this team, and she can do a lot. Blah 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 blah. No, it's not worth it at all. Because round start TODs, most of them require a very specific ingredient. It requires spark. You guys don't think about 3v. You guys think about 3v3, 3v2. Like, you guys think about that configuration too much. And you're not paying attention to the resource that actually matters. Spark is your single biggest resource now. Because here's the thing, right? Let me do this. What if the team was Kasuga's team? So, let's say I get this team, okay? And let's say things go well for me. Blah, 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 blah. So let's say she dies, okay? Kefla dies. She's going to have roughly about this much bar. Like 1.5, I would say. Okay? She'll have 1.5 bar, blah, 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 blah. And no recovery on spark. And let's say I spend every bar I possibly can. So let's say I go back to 0 bar. Okay. So we're going to go, let's see, health bar settings, and we're going to go Kefla's dead. So Kefla died. Okay. Kefla's dead. Oh, right. Kefla's dead. So Kefla, she gone bye-bye. She's why is she still alive? Alright, she's gone. Okay? And let's say I bring Kefla in. Alright? I have no bar. I can continue my development of base Goku and whatnot, and we're gonna start about right here. Okay? Now, this position looks really good for me, right? Except there's one critical thing missing. Okay? So this position seems like it's really, really, really good. But is it? Because now I have an 18 with bar. So now we basically bypassed the point war. I bulldozed through the point war. No neutral required. They're dead. Everyone's dead. Basically, we're back to normal. We're gonna go ahead and develop. I have a secondary point, and Kefla on the other team is dead, and we have 18. But she has spark. Because 18 has spark, she is now in the best possible position she could be in. Barring a character being alive. But in this particular situation, her team is very, very, very strong. Because if I do anything, if I fuck up, like let's say I'm pressuring her now and I'm not watching her bar, okay? So let's say I'm pressuring. No, hang on. No, hang on, my bad. We're gonna do normal. So let's say I do anything. She is gonna build, like, look how much bar I'm building just by moving around and playing neutral. You know, haha, moving and playing. Like, look at her bar. You'll be building bar 2. I'm getting close to 3 bars now. And if she gets a touch, things are not gonna end well for me. Things are not gonna go well for me, right? You know, she's gonna basically put me in a world of hurt because now she has bar and she needs to delete this character. The reason why this doesn't matter is because if my spark is gone, we're now in a meta where 2-touching is important. And it just so happens Kasuga's team is really fucking good at 2-touching. Because it's really good at getting the second touch. You see, 18 can now, because she needs to catch up. Let's say she does this. Okay, builds bar. Now I'm in a world of hurt. Because if I get knocked down, she's going to get mixed. I can't even see that mix. And I can't spark. Basically, if she wins, I have to hold whatever she does. And because I have to hold whatever she does, now I can't escape this via spark. You actually have to reflect, and unfortunately, you actually have to guess. More importantly, even if you guess right and she puts you in a block string, let's say she does this, her assist is coming back. Let's say her assist comes back. Now she can do... That's very difficult to block. That's very difficult to tech. You know? That is cursed. Back in the blender you go. And what's worse is that they know you can't spark, so you're going to be trying reflect. And this is where things get really fucked up, because now you don't have spark. Basically, you're going to be afraid of me, and if I have bar, like let's say 18 has this much bar, okay? Now you're afraid of me. Even though you have the life lead, if Kefla gets you don't want Kefla to get 2-touched. You need her because she's the best character on your team besides base coup, and she builds a lot of bar. She can develop base coup, okay? You need her to develop base coup. However, 18 doesn't care because she knows you're going to want to get her out. You can't spark. So you know what? Ooh, how about this? All right. How about this? I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. So now my defense is substantially weaker, and it is so much harder for me to protect my team against Kasuga's team. Especially if I just get hit with that. Just Dragon Rush. You don't tech a DR, you're in trouble. And here's an option that I didn't even tell you guys about that you were probably not thinking of. Ooh, messed up. Did the wrong direction. But you guys see where this is going, right? You guys see where this is going? Great. Off that unreactable command grab, she did 4K. Now I have to guess for the character. This team is so good in the mid game. And we will talk about mid game strategies when the time comes. But because it's so good in the mid game, and because I spent so many of my resources to kill a point, my team is now severely destabilized. It is in danger. Any touch he gets is going to be completely meaningful because any touch Kasuga gets on this particular team could very easily result in the dead character the next touch. And this team is very good at dealing with raw tag. Because the best time to raw tag is when your opponent's in the air. So if, you know, so basically you're like, all right, you need to get out? No, I'm going to do this. Even though Kasuga's not in the lead, you have to get the character out because this is risky. So he goes, you know what? That's it. I'm going to super dash. You know? I'm going to super dash, blah, 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 you know? Kasuga's just chilling. Oh, you super dashed? Bye. Oh, you guard canceled? Bye. So right there, boom. Spending your most important resource at round start is not worth it. That is why, at high level, what I'll often see, I'll see things that could potentially be a TOD starter. Okay. But you don't see a TOD. Because Spark is sometimes that important. Especially if your opponent is playing 21. You need Spark. Because if you cannot Spark, you cannot protect the integrity of your team. Your team just becomes so substantially weaker as a result of it because you don't have Spark. So round start TODs, guys, if you're the type of person to do round start TODs, if you actually play at a higher level, it's not worth it. If you want to meme on your friends or you're confident and you're kind of styling on your opponent a little bit, you know, go for it. Go for the round start. Go for the sauce. Go for the sauce. But if you are in a serious match where you're not entirely sure if you're going to win and you guys are fighting and duking it out, you need to protect your resources. So definitely consider that, guys. It's very, very important when we're talking about round starts. Okay? So, back to the beginning. Essentially, round starts are very, very important. Characters with different round starts are very important. But yeah, when crafting a round start, my number one thing to tell you guys is be safe. Don't constantly, don't be too safe. Don't always respect even when you shouldn't. But try to maneuver away from your opponent. Try to resume neutral and accept that neutral is going to happen. If your opponent is constantly trying to skip neutral, they're going to die for it. Neutral is an unavoidable part of Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I know everyone's like, oh, but neutral's such a scramble, blah, 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 blah. Neutral is an inevitable part of Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's going to happen. All right? No matter what you do, no matter how you play, unless you have Snap in your pocket or unless you play Go Tanks, neutral's happening. Just accept it and learn how to play it. Because that is usually the best way to survive. I would really implore you guys to do that. Because once you guys do that, right? You guys are going to have a good time. You guys are going to be able to navigate the situation a little bit better. You're not spending assists. And for a similar reason, that's why even though this is good, this is not good all the time. It's not good all the time because you're spending a resource right off the bat. And that resource could be better spent elsewhere. So consider what patterns leave you the most resources to actually play Dragon Ball FighterZ effectively against your opponent and the toolkits that they have. All right. So, that said, what are some of my favorite round starts? As you guys saw, one more time, dash block plus assist. Excellent round start. Excellent round start. Look how far back Kefla. Yep. That's fantastic. Great round start. Forces a jump. This round start forces a jump. I can chase in any which way I want. I can dash block, dash block. If they try to retreat too much, I can key blast. If my character allows it. Very, very good round start. Second, which should be the most common one. Super jump back. Really, really good. Super jump back is basically very safe defensively. You essentially go full screen. You can actually buffer. Like, you can actually buffer inside the super jump, for example. Ooh, let's say, like, you do this and float. You know, you can buffer stuff. Like, you can buffer moon jump. It's hard for me. I have to practice on my moon jumps. You know, you could do this. Like, it's really good. Like, you're in a very big position. You can do this. Dash block, which is really good. Control the zone. You know, this is very effective. You can harass. Like, you have a lot of options here, and then only spend your assists when you're comfortable. Not only that, you have more options to approach. So this should be your default round start. Stop constantly attacking. You don't need to always attack your opponent. It's okay to let your opponent play the game a little bit. Okay? That's how you win. If you're constantly attacking, you're going to die for it. I promise you. Let your opponent play, learn how to navigate neutral safely, and stop being afraid of getting hit. It's very important that you guys develop that mentality. Now, another round start that's universal. You can even do this. This is really good because you essentially get like a mix-up almost. You avoid their assists, snipe their own. If they jump with you, for example, if they jump back, you're following. And if they jump forward, you can actually intercept as well. So if they like to jump forward too, you can always jump forward yourself. Pretty good situation. You control a good portion of the ground. It does use an assist. However, it is pretty good at evaluating what your opponent wants to do. It's also a fantastic call out if your opponent super jumps back too much. Okay. The last resort. This should be the last one you guys use. And you should only use it when you're absolutely sure. Attacks. The reason why I tell you guys to be careful is because these are the easiest to punish. Literally all 21 has to do is that. To punish that. Or even better, she just does this. But this is a universal option. Like, every character can do this. And you will be punished for it if you are not careful. If you whiff, you're whiffing a special right in front of her. Look at this. Right? -35. And I can't vanish cancel it, even if I have bar. Like, if I have bar, I can't vanish cancel the way I could if I... So special plus assists, those are big commitments. Even more so in round starts if you're not paying attention. Because the amount of times I have seen and done this to a Bardock before. Or better yet, my favorite is when they're 18, right? My favorite is when you do an aggressive round start, like you do that plus assist, and then 18 just fucking level 3s both you and your mid. And you have to hold that. So, while this is not bad every single time, do not make a habit of this. If you do this a lot, if you're the type of person that's constantly aggressing in round starts, stop that. It's really bad. Don't do it. It's not good for you. It's not going to end well for you. You're not going to have a good time. And if you fight an opponent that is a little bit higher level, you're going to die for it. I'm going to be real. You're going to die for it. You're going to have a hard time. Just don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. Live. EQ'd it. You must live. But, right off the bat, those are round starts that you can try. If you are the type of person to attack constantly, try one of these instead. You know, try one of these instead. This might be more your speed. You know, try these. This is great. But that, my friends, is how you navigate. Thank you so much. How you navigate round start situations. Do you guys have any questions for me at all as we approach the end of our stream? This is going to be a shorter one, guys. I promise I'll do a longer stream tomorrow. But in the meantime, do you have any questions? All right. So we're going to do some exercises. Before we sign off, we're going to spend a little bit of time doing exercises with each other. Okay? And I have just the exercise for you. Oh, the stream had no sound. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean. Okay? Let's do this. So guys, I'm going to give you a selection of teams. And I want you to think of what round start options you can bait with. Let's see. Let's do this. So, what round starts do you think are possible for this team? What round starts, if you're fighting this team, do you need to be weary of? Yep. You also got to be aware of dash block plus beam as well. IAD back JH. Why would you be worried about IAD back JH against this team in particular? There is one thing you guys do have to be careful about with this team, okay? Because this team has a very unique assist on it. What assist are we talking about? And why do we have to be weary of it round start? Legs never gets used as a round start, Saber, but Team Gohan's 2M and 5H also don't work, unless you mean his Lariat plus assist, which his Lariat's the most common round start. It's also not a great one, but you hit the money on the head. Gogeta B is projectile invul. Why is that a big deal? Nope, Stardust hit the nail on the head. It is Gogeta B. But why is it being projectile invul a big deal, Stardust? Mm-hmm. It makes this more potent. it makes that more potent. So if Blue Goku were to do this, for example, oops, if Blue Goku were to do this, for example, wait, what the fuck? All right. Yeah, if he were to do that, for example, see? See? More importantly, look at my frame advantage. If I call my beam, that happens because Beerus is fast. But look how plus I am. Guess what? It is my turn. Mm-hmm. Consequentially, Gogeta as a point. What if I do this? I can get rid of the assist. And also the lariat short. So because my lariat's short, this is actually a much stronger round start than it seems. Because I could do this. See what I mean? If he does something like this, or even, or let's say he does that for outstart. My turn. See? So this tool is actually better than it seems. In my opinion, more versatile than that. It's more versatile than this, in my opinion. Even though this is pretty good as well. I prefer 236L because it is actually safer than most specials. However, beware. Remember, this is for rounds. This is for opening gambits. This is not going to help you in a round start situation when after a character dies. Hello, Smart Sky. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. That's a very unique situation. Point is, investigate your round start options if you want to be aggressive. Know what you are capable of at any time, and make sure you have a nice itinerary, a nice little repertoire of round starts. So that way you guys can be a little bit more diverse in dealing with your opponents and different playstyles. Remember to default to being safe, and remember to know your opponent And most importantly, remember to pay attention to your opponent. That is very critical. Watch their round starts, watch their pressure, and watch their assists. What assists are they using? If you see certain assists, you can pretty much bet what their options are going to be. And as a result, you know exactly how to deal with those options as well. All right, guys. That has been it for my show. Last call. Do you guys have any questions before we sign off? All right. So, how many of you are going to do interesting round starts next time you come into evals? Those of you that aggress in round start every time, are you going to start? Are you guys going to start being a little bit more patient and maybe not so aggressive around start? Unfortunately, Saber, I have high hopes for you, so I would prefer if you didn't. I would love to see some of you do more respectful round starts, or at least mixing them in with your aggressive ones. But yeah, I do have a question. How do you raid somebody on Twitch? Does anybody know how to do that? I have no idea how to do that. Man. Type raid channel. Oh, into my own chat? Interesting. Ah, yep, there it is. That's nice. If it's that simple. Here you guys go. Invalid username. Really? I guess it has to... I guess I actually have to... Oh, okay. What if I do... There we go. Bye, guys. Enjoy the content. Make sure to give Everlyn some love and some support. That way she can do more Dragon Ball content for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead. Make sure to watch Everlyn's stream, guys. She's really cool. She'll be playing Hades tonight, but stick around. There is a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters content. It's a great chill stream. Go support. I command you.